Hello and welcome to the Call of Duty Championship presented by Xbox. I am, of course, Benson. I'm joined by the wonderful BioS. How are you doing today, bud?
I am extremely excited. You know, first time in America right now and first time at a CoD Champs. I'm probably more pumped than the teams right now.
To be honest, I'm the same way. I really am. We have the best teams in the world competing for their share of $1 million across 3 days of jam-packed Call of Duty action. We're going to be kicking things off, though, with a pretty good game. I'm not going to lie. I was really excited when I saw the schedule. It's going to be everyone's, well, I don't want to say everyone's, but a lot of fan favorites. TK actually kicking things off on this stream. And they're going up against Rain Mix. And I think we both can say we expect TK to.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to be back in TK for this one. You know, I just think most people will be as well. You know, I think, granted, not many people maybe aware what Rain can bring to the table, but I just think for a heavy caliber team like TK, no pun intended with the name there, but I really do think that you have to back the, you know, you got to back the bigger name, you got to back the powerhouse when it comes to these sort of matches.
Right. No, I agree.
I really think it's going to be a great match. So, of course, every series today, best out of fives during the pool play. So, first to three will be your winner there. So, just make sure you keep paying attention to all that. It's all directly on MLG.tv all weekend long. Of course, this is Friday kicking off here. Big shout out to the people back home, though, back here in Australia. Very early in the morning back home. But I have to say
I like
it.
All. I like it. Yeah, you have to. But, of course you have to. I mean, imagine everyone from Australia, I should say, is really waiting for some of their games to kick off.
Definitely.
They have some pretty intense games. I think I'm actually casting one later on, I think.
A few people are wondering.
I hope so.
A few people will be wondering on Twitter, you know, is the match between FaZe and T1 going to get streamed? It is. Don't worry. It will be streamed. You will be able to get that and watch it live. I'll be casting it with Bricey later on today, so don't fret. You'll be able to see that matchup. And you know, a little bit of info there. You know, Bricey said to T1, if you guys beat FaZe, I'll come down and bow down to you guys. So
I've actually picked FaZe to finish.
Yeah, I know. I heard that you picked FaZe to take it number one.
All right, so this is the thing. Who've you predicted? Who's your?
You know, it's hard. I got to say Cole. I have to say Cole, only because that first match, the Full Sail comp, was their first one without a coach. You know, it's the first one with MSX being in their ear the whole time, giving that intensity to them. So but I still think, you know, okay, they know what they've done wrong. They know what they have to do now. You can't take that away from them. But at the same time, you know, it's still anyone's game. It all comes down to how you play on the days leading up to it. And, you know, if you can get into the mind of that other team and really cause an upset, then, you know, you're going to make people's head turn and you're gonna make people scared.
I completely agree. I think it'd be amazing if there was gonna be some upsets. Looking at the groups, there's gonna have to be at least a few. There has to be. And for any of you guys that are just tuning in and you're wondering how this whole format of the tournament is gonna work, we have group play to kick things off. And then what's gonna happen is the number one team from that group is gonna get a random seed between 1 and 8. Second place from every group is gonna get a random seed from 9 to 16. Then they're gonna be randomly thrown into a double elim bracket, so anyone can play anyone, and then they're fighting it out for those top 8 placements. It's going to be insane. But of course, before we can get anywhere close to that, we have so many games. Every single game is going to be brought to you live. We're going to broadcast everything out to you guys watching at home. So, you know, if any of your favorite teams are playing, make sure you check the schedule. It's going to be on MLG.tv. Find out when your favorite team is going to be playing and make sure you watch because, I mean, this is the event everybody has been waiting for all year round. Every team change, every event, just everything that everyone's been planning. All comes for this.
Yeah, pretty much like the last 6 months of NRF, all those team changes they went through. You know, they are playing for that trophy in the rings, but it's not just that. It's sharing $1 million in that prize pool. It's the biggest competition every single year.
How badass are the rings, though?
Oh, the rings are pretty nice. They are.
They are.
I was tempted, but there's this giant security guy right next to it. I'm just like,
could I?
Yeah, maybe
Should
not.
I try? Maybe
it's tempting just to grab that trophy and run, though.
It is. It really is.
I wonder how heavy that is. I want to try and pick it up, but the security guy was like eyeing me off. Just like, yeah, don't you dare.
You touch that, you're going to slap on your hand.
But guys, you know, like we said, TK and Rain Mix, the first match of today. I'm extremely excited, of course. For those that don't know, you do see it below. I am, of course, BioS, and I know a lot of people probably don't know who I am. I am from Australia. I am a caster. I've been doing it for 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, I'm from Australia.
I never would have guessed.
G'day, mate.
G'day.
Crikey!
Right, how is my Australian accent? Because I've had mix of feedback. I think it's pretty good. I'm not going to lie, but I'm not from Australia.
You got to bust it out.
G'day, mate. How you doing?
It's good. Yeah. On the end of it, you still got that British coming through, just on the end of it.
All right.
The g'day is pretty good, though. The g'day is pretty good. But I'm a very rural country person, so my Australian accent is fairly thick. I think you'd be able to get away with being, say, from a city in Australia.
I can just imagine everyone watching from Australia is like, no, just shaking.
You know, hashtag Straya.
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 You struggled to spell
I
that.
did. I think for a moment.
Almost forgot.
Like, what is going on?
That would have been so awkward. But everyone wondering, when does the game kick off? I believe we have another, I think it's like a couple of minutes whilst the players just warming up, making sure they have their classes set up. We were at the player briefing yesterday, and there were some interesting questions asked. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah.
But they all know all the rules, classes, everything that they could possibly know. Everyone has been fully briefed on. So it's going to be one of those where as soon as the game gets underway, the game is underway. There's no, oh, but I forgot to do. Nope. Game is underway. These guys playing for some serious props, the biggest possible scale. So everything has been fully thought out.
It has indeed. These guys are getting set. Of course, like we said, they are getting ready for action. They're in out to our right, so we can't actually see them at the moment. But hopefully, we'll be able to hear them. You know, when they get really pumped, they ask what we can and can't say. Like, you know, you can say "let's go." So let's just hope we hear a lot of "let's go" throughout the weekend, because you know it is this top level competition. So they don't want to be. You know, you got to be careful with what you actually say, because who knows what might hear like that. You know, they don't want to be heard saying something bad and then giving a bad name for themselves across the world. Because this is the best 32 teams have competed for this event, and they want to try and make it all the way to that top. And obviously, it's only one team that's going to come down to the win. But see, in my mind, like, a lot of people have been asking me, you know, where do you think Australian teams are going to finish?
Right.
Like, I'm happy if they get into double M. I am. But at the same time, I also see this as they're inside the top 32 teams in the world. Like, that's definitely an accomplishment in itself.
Oh, 100%. I don't think there's any doubt that they're definitely in the top 32. That's 110% a given. I think last year there was a lot of people saying how the Australians should have actually gone into the bracket, and they were very, very upset that they didn't. So I think they're coming here really with a massive point to prove. Obviously, you're going to know that better than anyone else. But I'm looking forward to watching them play. I really am. I think they're a fantastic team. I was lucky enough to actually watch the finals from the Australian final, and that was just intense stuff. I had everyone tweeting at me saying, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" And then I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" Watching at home, amazing stuff. It really, really was. But TK versus Reign Mix. Now, this team Kaliber. First of all, if you haven't seen their new jerseys, I suggest you look at your Twitter. I think Theory tweeted a picture of it. It's Theory_TK.
It's got nothing on Lightning Panda though.
Why would you? Now, whatever I say is just not going to be as good. I mean, you're right. They're not as good as Lightning Panda, but still, absolutely unbelievable new jersey that they have, and they've got it just for CoD champs. But Lightning Pandas, that's where the jerseys are at. They're wearing the snapbacks, the logo. Everyone at home knows I'm a huge Lightning Pandas fan. I'm trying to get a snapback hat just so I can wear it when I cast them.
It'd be interesting, you know. It would be good to see having one of those hats on. I can't because of my hair, I think. I think Brycey would probably the same with his hair.
Right, Brycey would have the hat.
It's just like sitting on top.
Up here, it'd be like on a shelf.
It'd be like out of screen.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
But no, obviously, like you said, TK are looking very nice at this event. All the teams are, they've all got their own jerseys provided by Activision, I believe. It's got their logos on there. It's got the country they're from, and it's looking very schmick. And these guys are honestly they got to look good at this sort of level,
right?
As do we. We do outdo the players in where we look.
I mean, look at dashing, absolute dashing.
It's all this.
See, personally, I love the tie.
So I picked this out myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
This guy.
What's up? But no, ladies and gentlemen, like we said, these guys are head to head. We're getting told they're warming up though. It's the first match of the day, so you have to expect. These guys have to get ready. This is the biggest part because the first match does matter. It's all about that mindset coming in this level, and if you can get out that first win, it helps fuel momentum. Especially
with a team like TK. This is something that myself and Golden Boy were actually talking about yesterday. We sat there and we were thinking, all right, which teams can realistically win? Like, which teams have it in them to win at this level? Because this is a level that, some of these players that you're going to see aren't used to really playing it. How many people can say, oh, I've sat in a grand final for $400,000?
Not many.
But I think there's 16 overall people.
Yeah.
From CoD XP and obviously Call of Duty Championships last year. That's not that many people that can really sit and say that they played for that amount of money. So when we get to the bracket especially, I think we're going to see a couple of people maybe get a little bit nervous. But this TK team, let me give you a little bit of background if you're new to competitive Call of Duty about this TK roster. Since the forming of Team Kaliber, they have never in their history placed outside of the top 4 at an event. Now, if that doesn't blow your mind, quite frankly, I don't know what will. I mean, we've had some crazy records by teams and players. I think Merc was renowned for having extremely high placements for such a long period of time within his career, but we've never seen an organization really come in and be like, all right, well, we're always going to place in the top 4 and stay in that organization as well. It's mind-blowing. It confuses me.
It is. It's amazing that they've been able to do that, stay inside the top 4. Being being from North America and had that many good caliber teams in this area, it's just amazing they've been able to, it's sort of like Cole taking out all wins. I'll compare it to that, I will, because the simple fact is, to be able to do that consistently at each event, even though you may not be winning, you're still inside that top 4 mark. That's amazing.
So the players right now are going to be going through their map vetoes, and if you're, again, new to competitive CoD, both teams get a chance to ban out maybe a map that they're not very good at. Believe it or not, pros, sometimes they don't have good maps. Sometimes as a team, they're like, oh, well, this is our least favored map. Maybe we want to skip it. But then it gets really good because they also think, all right, so the opposition we're playing against,
what are they good at?
What can we ban against them? That's where it gets really into the psychological element of the picks and bans kind of phase and the map vetoes. I personally, I wish that I could just stand there and listen to what they were saying. I think that'd be amazing, having like a listening to what the players were saying about
not just the maps that they actually vetoing, but like, okay, so we know that this guy's good at this map, we know that they're good at that map. Let's just get that out of the road right now. We're happy with what we can do in these other maps that are still left alive for us to play on. So we're feeling pretty confident, and it does play in your minds. And for those that don't know, the top team is Team A and Team B. So your top team gets the first veto. The Team B gets 2 vetoes after that. Then it's back to Team A for 2, and then Team B for 1. So that's how they veto the whole thing down the best out of 5 series. For those that are at home that aren't too sure. And, it just allows them to get a better feel for what they're going to be going up against in that best out of 5 series. And it's going to go as it always does, with a nice little domination S&D Blitz, and then domination S&D again. And
it's worth mentioning as well, there's a really cool rule. I think it's really awesome. I don't think we're ever going to see this rule being implemented in this tournament. But, for example, let's say it's Team Benson versus Team Bio.
Team Bio's going to win.
That's neither here nor there. Yeah. We're playing domination. Let's say either domination or Blitz, either of the 2 respawn game types. If we were to tie that, as we've seen a couple of times, to be fair, especially in Blitz, more so in Blitz than Domination. Yeah. But if we were to tie that, the map is going to be replayed. But the map can only be replayed up to 3 times. And if, by some weird miracle, it goes to a 4th, we tie 3 times in a row, which is extremely unlikely, you're going to play a Search and Destroy, which the referee is going to randomly pick a map. Any map he wants, obviously a part of the CoD Esports rules list, of course. Yeah. And you're going to play for that, because obviously you can't draw in that.
Even if they've been vetoed out.
Even if they've been vetoed out, he can pick whatever he wants. He's just going to basically...
Random selection.
That's how he's going to do it. That's how I at least imagine. With this
just randomly pointing at things.
Yeah, just like this
pokes a player in the eye. Yeah. It's like, sorry.
Oh, my bad. Now you're blind.
But no, it's definitely, it's not likely to happen, especially in domination. But it sort of can at the same time. Like, let's just think back in the day, for S&D side of things, for those that are back home, we saw so many times S&D coming down to like a tie game because you keep switching sides and switching sides.
Right.
And that's just the way it went for a lot of times because that's all we played back home was S&D for so many years. So when it comes to domination, you see it come very, very close. But you are right. Blitz is the more likely to perhaps be tied because it's all about that time frame allowance. Right. And, anything can happen when it comes to Blitz. It really can.
It really can. I mean, we saw an incredible Blitz game at the US Championship between Envy and Team FaZe where it actually died. And it was one of those games where you were sat there and it was like, as a caster, you were kind of like, all right, so first 3 minutes of the game, couple of caps, couple of kills. Then explosion in the last 2 minutes. Just a sheer explosion of just kills everywhere, clutches. It was one of those games which was just incredible to watch. If you haven't watched that, just open up another tab right now on your internet browser.
It'll be a VOD on MLG.tv.
YouTube.com.
It'll definitely be on there. Of course, that is where all the streams are happening this weekend. Or I should say this next 3 days. I'm used to saying weekend, but 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Of course, everyone is looking forward to that Championship Sunday. That's where it's all going to come down to right at the end, but it's a long road. It is a long road to get there.
It is a very long road. It all starts with the groups, and that's what we're going to be bringing for, I believe, all of today and half. Is it half of tomorrow? I think it ends at like 1 p.m.
Quarter or a half, tomorrow, It just gets in there to wrap up the rest of the group play. And it's the same again on the Saturday to Sunday, I believe, as well. There's like one match that plays first thing Sunday morning for Double Limb, and then you get into the rest of it as well. So it's going to be really good to see. I honestly can't wait. There are more matches coming this Sunday, though. Last year, you only saw the losers bracket final and the grand final on Sunday, I believe.
Did we see the winners as well?
I think it was the two. Yeah, it's only the two. So there are more matches this year around. So, you're getting more bang for your buck, so to speak, I guess you could say, if you are, a premium subscriber on the MLG.tv sort of thing, and you want to access all that. But, of course, VODs as well will be available. And throughout the weekend, be sure to follow, at Esports CoD, hashtag CoD Champs. You're going to find it all on that. At MLG as well, at Esports Nation. They're all going to be tweeting it out. The people are here live, all us casters as well, on all these streams. We're all going to be doing live updates when we can, because we are a bit busy.
A little bit. Maybe just a small amount. I mean,
because we are here to call the action after all. But I'm I'm blown away by LA and America in general.
Yeah, you actually flew out a little bit early, didn't you?
I've turned this into as big a holiday as I could.
You did it right.
And I didn't want jet lag to be any sort of an issue.
Right.
I thought that the first day I'd be here would be a bit of a struggle, but I got hit fairly bad with jet lag. I slept for most of the day and then most of the actual night as well.
Oh,
I was
really?
up about 4 a.m. Monday morning, and then I was like, right, Universal, let's go. I loved it. Yeah, I can't get enough of the touristy stuff.
Tourist. This guy. Having said that, I'm a tourist as well.
Yeah, but like, there's so many people that it's just weird when you go to a different country. They're like, I lived here for 8 years. I've never been up to the Hollywood sign. Never had a chance to really look at it. Yeah. I spoke to a girl last night. She's like, lived here for 8 years. Never looked at the Hollywood sign. Never been up close, sort of thing. Like done a tour or anything like that.
Wow, that surprised me. That would be one thing that I just figured you'd have to. It'd be like living in Paris and not seeing the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going for the elevator right up top. But this is one of the things that happen, and I love that sort of thing. But we're all here at the end of the day for Call of Duty champs. This is why we've come all this way. And this is why all the teams have come all this way as well. It was a long road to get here. And for those that are watching and wondering what's happened back home, of course, T1, Trident T1 Daughters, and a team immunity of the two teams that competed and also qualified to come over here in LA. And once again, Avant-Garde just missing out 2 years in a row now, just missing out by a tiny bit to be able to compete, perhaps next year. But I was talking to Rel as well, his brother, just missing out as well. Momo, so many people have competed every single year and they just miss out. And it's just, it hurts.
I actually saw a really interesting post on Reddit about the players that were here last year and aren't here, and then just the comparison. You look at the list of the names, and if I was to read that out to you, say 3 months ago, you would have sit there and be like, "You're an idiot. There's no way these players aren't going to get
Las Vegas, for example. Curse Las Vegas.
Parasite.
Killer.
You sitting there watching.
You're probably going to hear that a fair bit this weekend.
Oh no! The funny thing is, Parasite's actually come out. He lives relatively local. Everyone knows that I love Chris. Like, me and Chris are really good friends. We were actually at the bar last night, just talking more than anything else, really, and just having a good catch up and whatnot. And there's going to be some tomfoolery and some jokes definitely aimed at him, I think, from quite a lot of people, because obviously ex-world champion. For any of you guys that don't know Parasite, he was actually one of the 4 players that won here last year, and he hasn't qualified this year, and that is a huge, shocking story. There's actually only one player, one player from the winning team last year that's actually here this year in the form of Karma.
Yep.
That's it. He's going to be playing under the Complexity team. And again, if you're new to competitive Call of Duty, Complexity is a name, I think, from every single stream.
Yeah.
Every one of us you're going to hear is all talking about. They have won, I think it's now
8 out of 10?
I think it's 9 out of 11.
9 out of 11 now?
9 out of 11 of the past major tournaments that they played at, they have won at. It is an incredible feat, because CoD Esports is one of those things where you don't really expect there to be a dominant, not for that amount of time.
Not for this long, no. Not in this region anyway.
Right.
Back home we had Immunity, who since Black Ops 2 had just taken it away. Of course, Trident T1 Daughters beat them at the regional qualifier for this event. Both teams already qualified though, but they did defeat them at that event. They took out the main prize money for that and the title and the trophies. And that is, it's mine. It plays in your mind. It's all about the trophies, It'll come down to it. Who cares about the prize money? You don't get money anywhere, but it's all about those trophies and those rings. I want one of those rings, I really do. I don't know how I'm going to get one, but I'm going to get one.
If you see Activision tweet out saying one of the rings has gone missing, or maybe 2 of the rings,
wasn't us.
That's our little secret.
Just blame it on, Golden Boy and Rel.
This is why I like you, Bio. This is why I like you.
Why not?
See, very, very sneaky. Well, the game, I believe,
is getting underway. It's going to get started very soon. This TK team. We are all thinking, it's going to be Kaliber taking this one out. We're sort of thinking perhaps a 3-0, but at the same time, sometimes the casters might say, we're getting tired. We're not saying we're getting tired, but they look tired. But at the same time, they're thinking 3-0. But back in your mind, you're always thinking, game number 5, round number 11. It's just for that that entertainment factor. That's what you want to see in any match in general. Obviously, you don't get to see it all the time, but when you do get to see that round number 11 come down, it's 2-2 in the series, round number 11 S&D final map. It's where it all comes down. That's where you see the most passion in the players as well. And that's I just wish that we see a fair few of those throughout this next few days, and hopefully we do. And of course, there is continuation series happening as well during Double LM. So when players go into that, of course. Pool play and Double M are 2 separate things, so the scores between those 2 will not carry over, I believe. I'm pretty sure that your pool play, if you 3-0 someone, it's not the same when you go in Double M. It's just the first series you started off, and it's best set of 5. But if you meet up again in the losers bracket, that becomes the best set of 11, and then so on and so on and so forth. Same as Double M usually happens for those that might be wondering. But these guys are getting set up. The videoing has taken place, and it's all locked in for what their maps they actually want to play on for this first matchup of the day. And like we said before, it is a big factor. they want to. The team that wants to take it out, they want to keep the momentum rolling throughout the whole weekend. And if they can do that, it's really going to be a great mindset coming into that.
Don't mind me, I'm dying.
No, you're all right. I'll solo cast. It's all right. If you do see like Ben fall over and like CPR coming in like behind us, just ignore it. We'll focus on the game.
I have a terrible, terrible cough.
Oh wow, it's the worst time. Worst time to have it.
So apologies.
Apologies if you can't. We do have buttons to mute ourselves. Apologies if you can't hit it in time for you guys. We, it's something that we try and focus on at the same time as actually casting the match. So it can be a little bit hard.
I'm literally dying. It's okay.
It's alright. I'll take over for it.
What's the number we need for that? It's 911.
I'm just gonna just push you aside. Just get you out of here. Yeah. So it's all about me. How you going, guys? No, but honestly, these guys are getting set up for the great matchup. Of course, this is Call of Duty Championship brought to you by Xbox, and you're going to be able to watch this all, what we said, on MLG.TV, on the MLG app as well. I believe.
Have you used that yet?
I haven't had a chance yet. I've been too busy doing touristy stuff.
Tourist.
I have.
I haven't had time to use it yet. I really want to though. I've heard some really good things about it.
As have I, and I believe the Sunday is going to be on Xbox as well. I believe I got told that you can be able to watch it live on Xbox.
Yes, it's going to be on Xbox.com
or on your console itself. You better watch it there, and in case you don't have access to the internet, or not a computer, I should say, not the internet, a computer.
I was just turning. I was like,
I think everyone knew what I meant. Come on, Ben.
This guy. But I am extremely excited. I want you to, as I almost die again, I want you to just, give me your predictions.
For this match or this match? Overall, obviously, I'm sort of thinking. Top five, right? I'm going to go Cole, I'm going to go SB, I'm going to go Optic, MVS, and I'll just throw in TCM.
Wow. European team in the top 5. That's always good because a lot of people have sat there and said, all right, let me rephrase that. A lot of the American casters have come out and said the European teams aren't going to finish in the top 5. Top 8 they should do, but top 5 no. And the first person I've spoke to that actually thinks a European team is.
Everyone at home is hating me right now because I didn't mention one of the Australian teams. But I'm a realist, and when it comes down to it, the Australian teams have not played enough at this level.
Right.
And that's in my opinion. I love the guys back home, and like I said, I want them to get into Double Limb. I'll be great. I'll be extremely happy because that's top 16. If they win their first match of Double Limb, that's top 12 they automatically make it into.
Right.
So that's a big difference for them. But, at the same time, I don't think they make top 5. That's just my personal opinion. If they do, my mind will be blown. Everyone else's home mind will be blown. Around the world will be blown if Australia made it into the top 5. But
how good would that be, though?
It'd be insane.
It'd be like the best storyline ever.
I would love it, but
if that was to happen, though, which of the two teams would you put your money on?
So now you got me. You got me like it's hard at this time.
Curveball.
If they can keep the intensity going, like T1 can cause a lot of upsets. I think their intensity factor is a major thing that a lot of people won't be prepared for.
Really?
They can just stay pumped up and amped and ready to go all day long. They have that ability. They don't Izzy or his game is his Scar2. We'll refer to him as Izzy if you hear it on any stream. It'll just refer to as Izzy. The ability just to stay pumped and keep the guys' momentum going. It was I couldn't believe it during the regional finals. But at the same time, you got to take into account just that overall experience and veteran factor from Buzzard and Naked from Immunity. These guys have been here before. It's the second time now at this event. And they want looking to place better than they did last time. We'll have to wait and see, but I just have to put it down to what I saw at regionals, I guess. That's what I'm sort of basing that off.
Right.
But I think Immunity do have it in them to get it. If they get into Double Limb, I think Immunity could finish top 12. I really do. They, maybe even top 8. I'm probably pushing it.
This is the big thing, though. It's very difficult to actually give a full-on prediction. When we say top 5, we're basically thinking of our top 5 teams that we're expecting because, as I said earlier on, the way the bracket is going to work, it's going to be randomly seeded. So if Immunity were to make it out, or obviously T1, they could come up against anyone. They could come up against the Coles. They could come up against anyone.
Envious,
some of the top teams, or
SB,
they could maybe come up
TCM,
against. It could be an Oz versus Oz. Can you imagine that? That would be if both Australian teams found their way out into the bracket.
I would love to see that.
But then.
Again, on this stage, I'd love to see Oz.
That would be really cool.
It'd be a great match. It would. That's what everyone would be tuning in for. This is to see who would make it out of that match in the winners bracket. The winners bracket side of Double Limb. And of course, like we said, these guys are both trying their best to head into double limb. They want to do better than what the teams did last year.
Right, of course.
Of course, neither Mind Freak, who were here last year, aren't they this year, and Immunity were here. Now, Immunity do have the extra player this year, though. They've got Shocks. Now, last year they had 2 core, 2 pickups for the event. Obviously, 18 and over is the event.
I'm a big Shocks fan.
I'm
just going to throw that out there. I try and watch as many streams as I possibly can. And I always have some of the guys from Oz tweet at me saying, "Oh, it's an Australian stream. Can you check it out?" So I'll just creep. People don't even realize it. I'm just creeping. Like when I was at the airport, actually, I was watching. Who was it? I think it was.
Oh, when you were flying.
Yeah, when I was flying to Chicago.
Oh yeah. No, I remember.
I think it would have
been the regional finals, I believe.
No. It's from when I was flying from New York to Chicago.
Oh, okay. So it would have been earlier off. That probably would have been. Melbourne. Melbourne Land Qualifier, perhaps? Yeah, it would have been Melbourne Land Qualifier.
No. It was just a casual stream.
Oh, okay.
Just the players just casually streaming. So I kind of just dove straight in.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually found out what the first map's going to be. Strike Zone.
Strike Zone Dom. Who doesn't love Strike Zone Dom?
All comes down to that B in that bar area, and also, if they get a spawn trap going, if they hold C and A and just stop these guys inside of B that we see a lot of teams like to do,
right?
It'd be a great match for one of the teams, obviously. And we're going to see some Bulldogs, you reckon, inside B? Some players do prefer the Bulldog in that area. I'm a big Bulldog fan. You are?
I love him. It's awesome.
Keep an eye out for Immunity then. They got a 3 Bulldog rush on Sovereign. If you ever see Immunity on Sovereign Sunday, they got a 3-man Bulldog rush on that.
That is really.
Yeah. It's insane. I've never seen another team do that. But of course, like we said, TK up against Rain Mix. First match of the day here at the Call of Duty Champ, brought to you by Xbox, and we're about to get underway.
Let's dive straight into the first game on the Charlie stream. This is going to be very, very intense. As I said, TK, that roster, Gunjar, Theory, Formal, and Sharp. Formal, an old Halo player who has come out and has just changed absolutely everyone's mind about Halo plays. But the action is underway now. It's Domination Strike Zone, as you said. And we are going to be on board with Mr. Sharp. Sharp, a fantastic player, really a veteran in the scene. He's found himself in a fantastic roster as well. He's trying to cap that B flag, immediately goes down, however. Gunjar, an awesome slayer as well, it's worth mentioning. You've got to give him some massive props. It looks like he's going to try and do work on the safe flag.
Nice shot there from the side, obviously, with those Rise guys coming on in. It's because Iceman, Reese, Vise, and Josie Bra are the members from the Rise squad. For those that aren't aware of the team and the player names, it's something unfamiliar to them. We are still here with Formal, though. Starting to take a flag down, and we'll do that nicely. And we quickly look at that mini-map on the top left-hand corner of your screens right now. You see where the players are rotating around, and right now, TK are trying to sit up for this spawn trap here at B.
Yeah, this is exactly the position that they really want to be in. Having the opposition locked in that B flag makes it very difficult. It's come down to Theory. Oh, nice two-piece just down Reese and Iceman. There's going to be one more, though. He wasn't to see. Unfortunate stuff from him. Has he got any teammates in support? No, he doesn't. It's going to be Reese on your screen now. He goes down pretty much instantly. That was maybe a bit of a curse to the caster. Iceman getting peppered with stuns there from the TK lineup. And you can see TK actually rotated straight in towards that B flag. They picked that one up themselves. And Theory has had a sensational start to the Call of Duty World Championship. He was 6-2 there before I maybe gave him a bit of bad woojoo. But TK, playing relatively well right now. Sharp 4-1 as well. TK currently with a 24-15 point lead.
Yeah, nice little lead. And that's what we want to get off to in this regards sort of things for Strikers of Domination. Because Domination, it's one of those maps, if you can get 2 flags locked down for a short amount of time, you can sort of bring a comeback. So a 20 to 30 point lead isn't really that much in a Domination point of view for those that aren't that aware. So don't worry if you see a bit of a scoreline happening, but you've got to start worrying maybe when it gets to about 50, 60 points. Nice two-piece death from Theories, though, as these guys come inside the bar. And just like that, they lose that flag, but they pick up another flag and turn on.
What?
You got to mention it. Nice work by Theories inside of B.
Theory just destroyed Iceman. And right now you're seeing exactly why this team has never placed outside of the top 4, or organization, I should say, has never placed outside the top 4. Theory has just been a sensational captain. Theory and Sharp have been together for such a long time, it seems, and that duo, I mean, it just works. They're really good friends in real life. They have fun in game. They both can make really crucial shots. They can both go clutch when they need to. You add Formal and Gunjar, just ruthless slaying power, and it becomes a godly team. Like, what is that? Someone has Oracle mode on.
That is dirty.
How did he just do that? He is 12-4. Theory is trying to kick things off with a huge point to prove. A lot of people have kind of doubted TK and said how, oh yeah, they're a good team, don't get me wrong, but are they a World Championship winning team? And people have sat there and said no, that people don't think they can actually try and get that first place off the belt. But if there was ever an event to do it, it's going to be this one.
You know, they've got the Mullet King there, Sharp as well. Let's jump on board with him if we can. He's on 11 and 5 right now, 2 caps to his name. Also, if we turn Oracle mode on for you guys, you'll be able to see where the other players are also coming from. You see them glowing around that map, so that's what we get. We get to see that. These players, of course, don't know they've got to rely on the communication coming out from each other as they try and pick up the 2-play cap advantage once again. Sharp on side, the A can't do it though. From behind, it's going to be Reese to take him down as his teammates coming from the opposite side as well. 2-piece again from Theories. He is cleaning up 16 and 4.
Theory is just not missing. And this is exactly why these players are at the top. They're professional players for this exact reason. They just do not miss, to put it simply. Theory, 16 and 4. But more importantly, he has those 4 caps as well. So he's top fragging. He's got the most caps. He's doing everything in his ability right now to just go off as another 2-piece.
Oh my God.
Theory, please stop. You absolute animal. He is 19 and 4. We still have 60 seconds, over 60 seconds actually, of gameplay to show you from this first side. I mean, it's worth mentioning as well, you know, if you are new to competitive CoD domination, we see both sides played, so 2 5-minute rounds. If you tally up this man's score, I have a feeling it is going to be very, very scary at the end of the game.
We'll definitely take notes of what Theory ends up at the end of this first half. 50 seconds left right now. He's on a 12 score streak as well. Specialist bonus is engaged for him. We see 2 players, 3 players right now here at the A flag. Oh, we can't get the kill though. It's going to be Iceman to shut him down. And just like that, they're going to be doing a lot of work. Of course, Reese is currently top scoring from that Rain Mix team. That's the guys not doing that well though, so we are sticking with the TK squad for now. Goonjar running with that nice little Vector. You know, I'm a fan of the Vector. A lot of people like the MTAR, but I prefer the Vector myself.
I'm a big fan of both goods, to be fair. I'm more of an MTAR kind of guy. Not gonna lie. Feel it's a little bit more powerful. Maybe just a placebo effect, but as we get into the last 14 seconds, TK have been all over this Rain Mix side. It's 92 to 52. It's a huge lead. Formal just showing off his nice little gun skill there.
For their first game of the day, their shots are nice and on par. They really are. And that's what you want to see coming in to this sort of matchup. 24 and 6. We've got to make note of that as they head into that second half, of course. But, you know, you just got to make sure you take note of what Theory ends up on. 6 captures as well. That's a nice little first half in 5 minutes for Theory. Of course, the rest of the team going strong as well. Formal any person like bottom scoring there, 9 and 10 the episode, not from 2 figures, but you know, it's a team effort. You win as a team, you lose as a team.
Yeah.
You don't focus on one person, you focus as what can the team do. And look at the total captures there as well. You see there, while the Rain team were getting a few flags, they got about, that is 14 captures in total. The more captures were in the hands of TK, and that's sort of how you see why they had the more points that they did.
I agree. But we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll see round number 2 of the first game.